I did an event today, guys. It was fantastic at St James's Park. We had a small group of guys and I got everyone to do public speaking. I gave a talk at the start. I shared two parts of my story. We answered questions. Really great effort on the guys. I respect all of them. Really brave for turning up, facing their fears. And some of the things that come up that I want to extend on, if I could summarize the talk, there were two things I thought were most important. Number one was gratitude, and I'll get to that in a second. And I was teaching that at the event. I was saying that was the lesson that I learned through building a successful business and all those kind of things at the start. But the second part of my journey, story, life, I had a mental health breakdown. And through the mental health breakdown and the challenges, coming out the other side and being so thankful, I was able to find gratitude. Obviously, gratitude is a big word. It's going to take some people some time to understand it. I've actually got really good at it. I practice it every day in everything that I do. I'm going to elaborate more on the channel. The second part was commitment. Everybody, well, there were two particular people. One of my former clients who I love, who came, said, I finally figured out where I'm going wrong. He went on YouTube and he watched a video, and the video he said was titled, "Why Do I Keep Failing?" And he realized, same thing that I told him. He said, the reason why I keep failing every time I make progress, he said, because I'm not fully committed. And I said, of course that's right, especially with anxiety. This goes in hand with anything that you want to achieve. But as we're talking about anxiety, and that's kind of the area where I specialize in helping people to build confidence who have anxiety. If you're not committed, then you're never going to get there. This is why you can't go by your emotions. Emotions will only take you too far. Now, of course, emotions are important, and we're all emotional. And I'm an emotional person. I love music. I'm romantic. I like feeling good. But the reality is, it doesn't matter how much money you got, the house you live in, the friends, whether you're in a good place, a bad place. You can't rely on your emotions, because people say today, I'm feeling good. I'm going to start a diet tomorrow. I'm going to lose 30 pounds. Next week comes, they're moody. Their boss shouts at them, or something happens, or someone triggers them. Now they're angry and they're upset and they're resentful and they're not grateful anymore, and they don't want to stick to their diet, and they break their diet. So you can't go by emotions. You've got to go by something stronger. Now, various ways we can describe that. For me personally, what has always got me success and got me past these challenges, especially with anxiety and self-doubt and negative thoughts and feelings and voices, and the challenges, the inevitable challenges of life, is making a commitment. And when I've made a commitment, it's always been like a prayer to God. Thank you, God, for giving me strength. I really want to do this. I'm willing to, whatever it takes, you know, in the realms of not harming anybody else, but being a good person. There's no quit in me. So that means you accept rejection, which is inevitable. You accept criticism, because you're always going to be criticized when you're doing something great. Right, that's just part of life. You've got to appreciate that and say thanks to that, and accept that it's going to be painful, it's going to be frightening at times, it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be wonderful, it's going to be very comfortable, joyous. It's life. It's going to be a full experience. And if you're committed and you have a purpose and you have a vision, you're not going to quit. So you've got to figure out what motivates you, because I know what motivates me. And I know what keeps me committed, but it might be different to you. And when I coach people, I help them to figure that out. So for some people, it's what makes them commit is because they want to make their parents proud. For other people, it's financial. They're financially motivated, which is fine. They want to be financially free, and that gives them commitment. For some people, it's faith. They want to fulfill what they feel God's put in their heart. For other people, they want to overcome people putting them down, being bullied, whatever it may be. For some people, it's Bruce Lee, or some people watch my stuff and they're inspired by what I've done, my story, my example, and they want something similar. Whatever it may be, you've got to find it. You've got to find that love, because if you don't find it, you're always going to quit, especially when things are going well. So what my client was also saying, he is making a lot of progress, and he made loads of progress when I'd done the coaching with him, the 6 weeks confidence program, massive progress, and he made progress today. He come to the event. He said he doesn't have social anxiety, but he goes quiet a lot. He gave a talk, he was brilliant. But the question is, will he continue to do that every day? Because today's today, brilliant. But what about when tomorrow comes? Are you going to say, oh, I can't go for a run tomorrow because it's raining? If you go, listen, If you go by your emotions and you go by the weather, you're never going to be successful, because the weather changes like your emotions. But if you go by something stronger, which you could call love, you could call meaning, you could call faith, creating a vision, you're never going to give up and you're going to be successful. So most people don't commit, to summarize it in simple words, because they're frightened to commit. They're frightened to death of committing. I understand that. I had the same fear, and I've successfully overcame it at several stages of my life. Now let's examine the fear, because that can be quite vague. Why are people afraid to commit? Well, committing means patience. People are frightened of being patient. What comes with patience? A hell of a lot of things that you've got to work through. What else comes with committing? Success. People are terrified of success. Success obviously breeds change. People are frightened of change. Even though most people don't like their lives and they're not happy with who they are and where they're at, they know it, it's safe, it's comfortable, and that gives them some security, satisfaction, but it doesn't make them happy, it doesn't leave them fulfilled. So people are frightened of committing because they're afraid, if I commit and I'm successful, I don't know if I can handle it. Or if I commit and I'm successful, I don't know if I can deal with the responsibility of more people liking me, or looking up to me, or expecting more from me, or my own expectations. So people throw the towel in and they quit. We see it from all walks of life. I love learning from great people, and we see it in boxing. We see amazing champions that are amazing, and they get to a certain level and they self-sabotage. You know, we see them, whether it's drugs, it's womanizing, they stop training as hard, whatever it may be, they somehow they give in, they give up. They can't cope with it. They all of a sudden, they can't control their ego. They can't handle the fame. I understand, I've been through it myself. I had a nervous breakdown and I come back from that. So I'm encouraging people. Or we see people that moan, 25 years they're in the same job, but they're still moaning. And for 25 years they've been saying the same story. It's a broken record. One day I'm going to leave this job. That day's never come. It's 25 years. Because they were not able to commit to changing, to saying, right, I'm going to make a commitment and there's no going back. So it's like, you know, you've really got to put yourself in a position where you can't go back. And I'm going to give you an example from a real part of my life. I love sharing this. Really is a pleasure. Thank you for listening. When I first started boxing, a part of me, I wanted to make my dad proud. I wanted to make myself proud. And I wanted to make all the men and all the women in the world who have never met me, I wanted to have respect. I wanted them to see me as a brave person, as a fighter. But another part of me was petrified, because part of me didn't feel I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not talented enough, I'm shy, I'm introverted, I don't want to lose, I'm so frightened of losing. Because I got beaten up when I was younger, and I knew the feeling of losing and being judged and feeling ashamed and down and depressed, and even at times suicidal. So I was so frightened of re-experiencing that again. So I was going to the boxing gym, I was really doing well, but I wasn't fully committing. Deep down in my own heart, I had my own goals. My goal was to get in the ring and spar and just give it the best shot I had. If I got beaten up in sparring, fair enough, but at least commit to it. At least go in there and give it everything I've got. Fight the fear, have a good spar, have a good dust up. At least I could come out, sleep at night and go, well, I got beaten up, but I committed. I've got nothing to feel ashamed about. But it took me months and months of lying to myself, at times lying to the trainer, excuses. I was so frightened, so afraid of being exposed for not being a good boxer and getting beaten up, and that playing on my whole identity. So I was frightened of committing. The trainers knew that, and one day I was honest and I just said, look, I'm really trying, I'm embarrassed, but I'm scared. And he gave me a nice chat and said, you're quite gun shy. And I was like, you're so frightened, but they were patient with me. And what they did was they said, come in, he's not going to hurt you, don't worry. He's just going to go light on you. They put me in with like a skilled boxer, and he just moved around and just to give me a little bit of confidence, just to help me to overcome that fear. Weeks ahead, I got a little bit more braver, a little bit more confident to commit further, until I could go in and fully commit and, you know, have a fight, basically, have a proper punch up. Obviously it's within the rules of boxing, but it was still rough. I got my nose busted, I got a black eye, I got sick, I threw up in my mouth from the fear and the tiredness. But I come out, I felt like a champion. I won the war because I faced that fear and that connection of committing to something that I'm frightened of, that I want to succeed in, I'm afraid to succeed in, and I'm afraid to fail, and I'm afraid everywhere. And I experienced what I experience right now because I'm committing to doing this video. I could do this video half-assed, I could protect myself, I could make myself look good, or say the right things to impress people, or I can be vulnerable, say what's in my heart because I want to change people's lives. I'm not worried about the criticism. I welcome the criticism. Criticism toughens me up, makes me humble, and I've been through so much great things in my life and challenges. I'm confident to say it's not going to affect me, not going to affect me at all. I pray for them. So, commitment takes everything. And there's a stubbornness in people, there's a stubbornness in human beings where they don't want to give everything because they're frightened of giving it all away, because they're frightened of death, dying, they're frightened of living, they're frightened of success, love, all these things. Psychologically, fear can go into many different So fear can cause a lot of confusion. You can be frightened of going into the boxing gym and sparring in case you get knocked out and embarrassed or tired. But what the fear will do is, if you don't know how to control fear and control your own mind and your own anxiety and thinking, it will just spiral out of control. And then it will go into different areas of your life to confuse you and frighten you. That's part of how the brain works to keep you safe. What does the brain want to do? The brain's not designed, most of it from my understanding, and I've got a lot of experience, it's designed to keep you safe. How would you be safe? Well, you'd be safe by not committing. So people become addicted to being safe, but safety, I'm just joking, but I was serious. I spoke to one of my other clients today, amazing guy, Phil, at my event, and I said, you know the most dangerous place that I've ever been in my life? I grew up in a council estate where there's guns, crime, violence. It can be very dangerous, like all places. It's also got beautiful parts. And I've been to many different dangerous places. I'm sure all of you have. You know, there's dangerous places all around the world. But the most dangerous place I've ever been in my life, the most dangerous place is the comfort zone. When you're in your comfort zone for too long, that's the killer of dreams. That's where mental illness hits a lot of men. That's where I experienced the most severe mental health problems, paranoia, intrusive negative thoughts, suicidal thoughts, because it's not healthy long term. Of course, there's a time to be comfortable, which I love comfort when you've worked hard, but it's not good for what we're talking about. So I always encourage men and women to make a commitment to anything to get to learn the tools. So let me explain this. So I work with a lot of clients who are not happy in their existing jobs at the moment. I understand that. And they want to start their own business and get paid to do what they love, like what I'm doing, or different, but in the sense of being your own boss. But at the moment, they don't fully have the strength to leave their job and make that commitment to quit their job and jump into the unknown and see what happens and do the best they can to set a business up. I understand that. I've been there. So what I will do with them, I'll say, right, that's fine. We're not ready to climb that mountain yet. That's Mount Everest. And I don't expect you to climb that in one day or a week or a month. Let's put that on hold, but let's hold the vision. Your vision and your goal is to climb Mount Everest. But we've got to train. We've got to get the mind right. We've got to get discipline. How are we going to do that? Step number one. Every morning you wake up, we're going to make the bed. You're never going to leave the house with creased bed sheets. I'm laughing in my head. Hear my mum's voice. My mum's teaching is one of the best. My mum, if you watch this video, Mum, I know you don't watch my stuff, hit the like button. Yeah, show some love to your son. So my mum's teaching. My mum, my nan, especially my dad. When I think of my mum, you didn't make the bed. You know, she's right. I was bad attitude younger. I didn't realise it was going to affect every area of my life. My dad, you got to wash the dishes. Your mum cooks. I go to work. We both work hard. You got to show some respect. Me and your mum work hard. We're cooking for you. Wash the dishes. All right, Dad, I'll wash the dishes. I'm complaining. I'm huffing and puffing in my head. I appreciate it now. So you got to get your discipline right, to get the mind right, get your integrity strong, your character. Make the bed every morning. Be thankful. You know, you might not be enjoying the job that you're in. I've been there, but be grateful that you have a job. You're not going hungry. There's people starving on the streets. They haven't got any money. They haven't got any shelter. Some people got no family. Think about it's not just you. There are other people suffering far more worse than you are and than I am. So be grateful for what you do have, but at the same time, Don't bullshit yourself into lying and just settling for a mediocre life, because that's not what I'm encouraging you to do. That's not what I teach. But be grateful for what you have got, be grateful for where you are, and be motivated to change it. So we've got to get the basics right. If we can't get the ABCs right, how can you get the advanced stuff right? So back to the boxing stories again. When I first walked into the gym, I thought I knew everything. I was ignorant, I was young, I was insecure, and I didn't know much about boxing, just watching it. Tyson growing up, Lennox Lewis, Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, Steve Collins, Kawasaki. I absolutely love these men. You know, I got some of my best memories of my dad watching boxing. My dad got me into boxing. He's brilliant about boxing and he taught me the basics, but I'd never actually tested these skills under pressure. So when I came and I tried to throw the combinations, and the trainer said to me, you know, sorry about language, but he said to me, you know, what the F are you doing? And I was like, I'm hitting the bag. And he said, you idiot, you're doing it wrong. And no one's going to stand there and let you throw 6 combinations. You know, you've got to learn the basics. Keep your hands up, keep your chin down. I've said this before, right? This comes when you grow old gracefully. You tell stories to young people. Throw the jab, you know, bring it back. Of course he's right. The basics is the best. If you can't get the basics right, you're going to fail at the advanced stuff. So if you don't have the discipline and the character yet to leave your job that you don't enjoy and set your own business up, you've got to build the character through discipline by getting the basics right. If you can't clean your apartment, wash the dishes, hoover the floor, keep things tidy where you're living, whether you're living on a couch, your own place, your parents, doesn't matter, penthouse, a small house, a room, clean every single day. Show yourself that you respect you believe in yourself. If you do that every day, your character is going to get stronger. Of course, parent value. Have good manners when you go out. Treat people how you want to be treated, even on days where you don't feel like it. That's good character. Good character is when you can't be kind to yourself because you can't feel the love on that day. You're in so much pain, whatever you're going through. Be kind to someone else. If you're kind to someone else, you'll also be kind to yourself. This is great character. Clean the apartment, have good manners, treat people how you want to be treated. All of a sudden, this integrity, this strength is building you up. Now you're like, you know what? I think I'm ready to go up Mount Everest because I've climbed the little mountain. That was challenging, but I'm confident from doing the little mountain. Now I'm going to take on the bigger one. If you fail, so what? At least you tried. There's no shame in that. There's only respect in that. But someone that doesn't try, that moans, that blames, that complains, everybody else's fault but not your responsibility, nobody respects that. Nobody respected me when I had victim mentality. No one cared about me other than my mum, my nan, God, and a couple of friends. But do you understand what I'm saying? So you've got to care about yourself. You've got to care about other people. You've got to get your character right. And then you're in a position to build a business, start making some money doing what you love and setting a good example to other people. How can you set a good example to other people if you can't clean your apartment and put on clean pants and socks and brush your teeth? You can't do it. It's going to fail. Your character is going to be built on lies. It's not going to be built on actually doing it and living it. So you've got to live discipline on the simple, daily, mundane things, master them, do them for life, and then go on to the bigger things. Discipline is in everything, and gratitude. The more disciplined you are, the more gratitude you have. I learned this from life. I didn't learn this from textbooks. I didn't learn this from tweets and followers. I learned this from making mistakes in my life, having a bad attitude, not listening to my parents, not always listening to people that knew more than me, having to suffer the consequences for 15 years and it affecting every area of my life and torturing me with pain and shame and disappointment, and thinking, right, I want to change this now, got to change my attitude. So your attitude has to change, and to be committed you've got to have a very positive attitude. You've got to get past being selfish, because a lot of people can't commit because they're so selfish. Successful people, most of them, what I noticed about them, and I had to learn this myself, I had it as well, times I didn't, they're able to go beyond their own selfish problems even when they're going through challenges, and they're able to still help other people out. There's no excuses. I'm not saying this to show off, but I'm saying it because it's true. When I was in a mental hospital and I had no money, I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out, and I was really down on my luck and I was really struggling, and good people helped me out, put some money in my account. I was still able to be kind. My parents brought me up like that, my mum, my dad and my nan and my faith. When I went to the shop, I bought extra food because in my head I was thinking, well, what about, have they eaten? That guy might be hungry, that man's hungry, that lady's hungry. And that made me feel like a multi-billionaire. That made me, because it's kindness. That takes discipline though. It's very easy to overlook that and say, I don't care about people, forget them, selfish. You don't get nowhere like that. You certainly are not going to build a business if you cannot help people, you know, consistently. And it doesn't always have to be financial. A piece of food. How much does it cost for a piece of food? A couple of pounds? You can't do that. It's these things that are going to hold you back from being successful. So commitment is attitude, gratitude, how you show up. Again, the mind comes in and says, oh, this guy, this coach, he's asking me to be perfect. He's not perfect. I can see his flaws. You're right, I'm not perfect, and you're right, I do have flaws. But you've got flaws, but I am happy in who I am. And I've been successful so far, so I do know a thing or two. And you're on my channel and you're on my video. So I must be saying something right. So this stuff does work, you know, and you're never to, it doesn't cost any money to be kind, whatever you've got. And that's a character which is kind of rare these days, I've got to be honest. It's quite rare. It was more common before. But, you know, I'm always willing to be proven wrong and people can change. I did. So get past your selfishness, because you're going to need these tools if you want to be successful. And then when you get those days when you feel like, I don't know why I'm doing this, I can't go on, this is so difficult, these voices are beating me into submission, telling me I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it, threatening me with bad consequences, you know, my mind's all over the place. That's the time when you go, right, I've got to get out of my own selfishness, I want to go and help someone. It could be a phone call. How's your mum? Call your mum up, see if your mum's all right. You know, call your dad, spend some time. These are powerful. You'll never be broke if you practice these ethics. You know, you just won't. You'll be rich in love, and then everything else will be a bonus. So it takes discipline. Boxing taught me this. Going through hardship taught me this. My dad taught me this. My mum taught me this. My nan taught me this. I taught myself this. You know, women taught me this. Good friends, bullies taught me this. So if you're really committed and you're open, you will learn. You will learn every single day, you'll be better. One of the questions I ask myself every day, I've asked myself this since 2017, another blessing I got from my faith from the Lord and from having a mental breakdown and overcoming it. Every day I ask myself privately, Jonathan, what can you do today that would make you happy and grateful? I feel emotional when I say it, and I always get an answer. And sometimes it's simple, it's clean your apartment, make a list of everything that needs done in the house. The dishes need doing, the floor needs hoovering, the bed, the room needs spraying, the toilet needs cleaning, the sink needs cleaning, things need to be put back in, things need to be thrown out, letters need to be sorted out. I go and do it and I feel like a billionaire again, I'm on top of the world. Or go to the gym, or go and see a friend, or I get a sense someone's struggling, I know this person's struggling, encourage them, send them, we'll have a joke. It's amazing, but it takes awareness to ask these questions, you know. So you can ask that question. The next question I ask is, how can I serve someone today? I learned this from Jeff Thompson, my mentor. He's amazing. And that doesn't mean I've got to buy someone a Ferrari, right? You can do that. You guys don't have to buy me a Ferrari. Just get me a push bike. But no, seriously, it's amazing what it will do. It might just be a sake of just being friendly to someone when they're serving you coffee. So ask these two questions. A few questions to ask every day. What can I do today to be grateful and enjoy my day? How can I serve someone? It doesn't always have to be in my business or for a YouTube video or a paid coaching session. It could just be in my thinking and how I show up in many different ways. Or if I'm out training, I'm in the gym, it happens a lot, I'm training. Sometimes I see it, people, they're a bit down, a bit defeated, I'll encourage them, so you're doing great, man. I'll just have a little conversation with them, share some positive energy, because I know what that means when someone's done that for me. Have a laugh with them, have a joke. Or I was working out the other day on the bag, a guy comes, he's old, he seems a bit shy. He asked me how long I'm going to be. I felt it was the right thing to do. It's my parents again. I said, you know what, mate, you use it. I'll come back later and use it. And I said, don't worry, enjoy it, don't worry. And I let him use it. He's older than me, respecting your elders. This is great values. I felt like a millionaire after doing that again. But I wasn't always like that when I was ignorant, when I was selfish, when I was insecure, when I was quick to get angry, when I expected everyone to do everything for me, but I had a really lousy attitude. So these are things that you work on, and if you really want to do it, you're going to do it. I'm confident loads of you are going to do it. Those of you that ain't, you would have switched off the video now. You're not going to want to listen to me. I would have probably upset you, triggered you. What can I do? I'm trying to help you out. I'm not going to apologize for that, and I understand. Maybe you don't want to hear it right now. That's fine. Patience. So This is what it means to be committed. Whatever you're doing, relationship, commit. You've got to face that fear of being hurt. People don't commit to things because they want reassurance. They want God to tell them that you won't be hurt, but you can't do that. You can't live life like that. Tomorrow's not promised. So live for today. Commit today. If you commit today, that's all you got to do. Tomorrow comes, commit the next day. I did it today. I woke up this morning, got up at 9 o'clock, did my prayers, read some stuff on the Bible, practiced gratitude, had a coffee, was managing my nerves and excitement to do this event, and I thought, what can I do before I go to the event to be the best person I can be and give the best energy? Go and run up the hills. My mind went, oh, not again. Yes, again, Jonathan, we're doing it. Absolutely loved it. Got my shorts on. My shorts are old, t-shirt, trainers, humbling myself, ran, done the hills, came back, had a shower, put on nice clothes, went to the event, had a great time with the guys. So it's a mindset and a heart set. But I do understand what I'm asking, encouraging people to do. It is really challenging. It takes every bit of courage, but you know what? You get as many goes as you want. It took me 5 years to lose this weight. I was battling with my weight issue and with my insecurities and my insecurities around my self-image after putting on a lot of weight, being on medication, having a breakdown. But I got there in the end. I'm 35 or 34 pounds lighter. I feel great. I don't feel my age. I feel young, feel fit. You know, and it's so it's all these things. You know, I'm going to make more videos. Commitments every day. What can you do every day that you could commit to as just as a practice of commitment? You know, can you water your plants every day? Could you make the bed every day? If you can do something every day long term, then you've proved to yourself that you've got the tools to commit to something. Can you go to the gym regularly? That's why I constantly say that I only coach committed clients, because clients who are not committed, I can't coach them. They're best sticking to the free videos because they're not going to do it. So if you're not committed, I think the best thing to say is, I can't commit right now. Yeah, as I was saying, you know, it's very good to be honest. It's really good for your character. If you can't commit right now, just be honest and say, right now I can't commit. My fears are getting the better of me. I'm very overwhelmed. I've got a lot going on. Just take it one step at a time. But I still believe that if people really want to do it, they can commit to doing something every day. I mean, I committed when I was in a mental hospital. I was hospitalised for 6 weeks, but I committed. They let me out for a few hours. Every day I went out for a tea and went for a walk around St James's Park, come back to Victoria and went to the Gordon Hospital. And every day I'd read something from the Bible. And every day I was preparing my vision, or every day I would do the therapy there. So committing to something strengthens your character. And of course it's the anecdote for getting over anxiety. People that have got major anxiety challenges find it hard to commit because the anxiety comes up and it frightens them out of the very thing that they're trying to commit to. So it's discipline, practice. Anyone can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Because I was really troubled and struggled at the start. So there's various ways that you can practice commitment. Like I said, socializing, exercising, diet. I think the best one to start off with the cleaning at home, especially for the guys who seem to struggle with that. All right, so that's it. I'm going to make more videos. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm putting out a lot more videos, so I'll speak to you guys soon. All right, pleasure.